This program is brought to you by UCKG.
Hello, this is Finding Answers, and we are preparing ourselves for a wonderful program. It's going to be amazing. And I want you to text your friends, your family member, and tell them to connect because it's going to be very, very interesting. We're going to interview our special guest, Nilton. He's going to reveal what he passed through. He used to be mocked in the school and many more. And also prepare your family members because we're going to pray for them at the end of this program. Stay tuned.
A very good evening to you. You're watching Finding Answers here on my TV, and tonight we are going to talk about self-worth. How can one regain their self-worth after have gone through a traumatic experience? A lot of people, unfortunately, allowed the bad experiences which they have gone through to take away their self-worth. And when you lose your self-worth, you lose confidence, you lose your peace, you lose your focus. And when you lose your focus, you can't make things right, can you? You can't achieve your goals, can you? You can't make the most of your potential to go higher and higher. And we've got a guest who's going to be here with us shortly, and he's going to be talking about his experience, how he had to deal with bullying. Bullying has become an extreme problem in today's society, Pastor Neil. Actually, yes. Especially among young people. Yeah. Some young people even took their own lives
because of that.
Because of bullying, because they couldn't cope with the pressure.
Yeah. And you know, this has been let's say a trend from a long time, and many people had suffered with this, and still there are many people that are suffering. As our special guest talking to him, people understand that even though they are going through this bullying, they can overcome it.
Absolutely, yes.
As you said, that there are some people, they took their lives because some people could not deal with such a pressure. It makes them to be in fear, it makes them to become anxious, it makes them to even feel depressed at time. But our special guest is going to explain how important it is to fight against this.
When we talk about bullying and, you know, the loss of your self-worth, I can relate a lot to this topic because I have experienced this myself.
Yes.
When I was 15 and I started studying a new school where obviously the students did not know me. Mm-hmm. And because I had come from different part of the country where, you know, we had that funny accent.
Yes.
So I suffered a lot of bullying because of the accent in my homeland country.
Yes.
And I can really relate and can really understand what it's like to not to be accepted because of who you are, what you look like, yes, or how you speak.
Yes, and sometimes because of how you look, how the person looks, make it even more worse because for example, inside the school, they'll be laughed at, yep, they'll be put down. Sometimes the person is not allowed to sit among others. They are rejected and many things. So this is a high subject, and tonight you are going to learn how to defeat this. Maybe bullying is not your problem, but whatever your problem is, you are going to receive solution tonight because you are watching the right program, Finding Answers.
We're going to watch a testimony now of someone who has gone through traumatic experiences in life, but when this person has found the genuine power of faith,
yes,
when this person finally discovered that faith was real and faith was there as a powerful tool to help them overcome their problems, then this person made the most of life.
After I left school, I always knew that I wanted to go to university to get my degree, but it seemed like everything that I was doing to try and complete my degree, it seemed like everything was going wrong. My life felt like it was upside down. There were so many problems coming from left, right and centre. I had a child to take care of. Then when all the problems of taking care of my son, being a single parent came along, it seemed impossible for me to achieve that dream that I always wanted. After I found my faith in God, then I started to put everything that I had learned into practice. And once I had done that, then I was able to use all those tools for me to achieve my dream that seemed so impossible for me to achieve. Now I'm a graduate and reaching for my dreams.
What you have just seen on this testimony can actually happen to you. This is not just a privilege for a few people. A lot of people have this wrong idea where they say, oh, I wish I was born richer. I wish I was born in a wealthier family.
Yes.
I wish I was born with such and such privileges. And then when you speak like that, you're starting to play the victim.
Yeah.
And playing the victim doesn't help, doesn't solve your problem. Seeking self-pity, coming to people and start moaning about my problems so that I can get the attention of people. And then people start tapping my shoulder, oh,
Yes.
come here.
Yes.
Oh, I feel sorry for you.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't, because it makes you feel better at that moment.
Yes.
But then when that person turns their back and and they walk, you feel worse.
Yeah. Because now you are left alone to the reality of you.
Meaning it's not a definite solution. It's just a temporary one, which is a trick. It's a lie.
Yes.
What this program is offering is a definite solution. Hence why we call it Finding Answers.
Exactly. And when you feel sorry for yourself, you become stuck. You don't move. Because what moved the person, Pastor Douglas, is faith. Faith is the one that takes the person out of his or her situation. For example, sometimes the person who is born, grew up sitting in a wheelchair and says, I wish I was born walking like the other. But how many inside the wheelchair, by faith, they walked? So it's not about how I was born, which family I was born in. Is about what I use to make who I want to become in life. And this is it.
If you want to talk to us about your problem, if you've got any questions that you need answers, you can send us an email. We have an email which has been specially dedicated to you to answer your questions, to pray for you. If you'd like to book an appointment to see Pastor Neil or myself, you can see one of us. You can see either. We are here to offer you help. And it's free of charge. We are not going to charge you for an appointment. You can give us a call. 02076866300. If you want to send an email instead, you can send an email to help@finances.tv. And if you'd like to get more familiar with finances, and perhaps you might have missed one of the shows and you'd like to watch that show, well, you can watch a replay of the show. Just go to your YouTube page, and on the search bar, you type there Finances. You will come across our channel, subscribe to it. You will be able to watch all the previous episodes in HD quality. Okay? We will now go to a short break. Stay tuned.
Pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost. things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Welcome back to Find the Answers. Our guest is Newton Geddes, who's a young man, successful man, but life has not always been good to these young men, and he's here tonight to reveal his story and how faith has helped him find a new path, find a new purpose for life. Good evening.
Good evening, Pastor.
How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Yes,
Okay.
very good.
But tell us about your story. How was your life before you found the supernatural power of faith?
So my life before I found the supernatural power of faith, actually starting from my early ages, I was a very lonely person. What I had is, I would portray that I was someone that I was not, but inside I always felt very lonely. And this started from a young age of around, let's say, 6 years old. When I started primary school, actually, where I used to get bullied quite a lot by my friends. Well, those ones that are supposed that were friends, right? But I used to get bullied by them, multiple insults, multiple names, that made me really feel down at that early age, where I was just growing up as a person, trying to have an identity for myself. And, hearing all those insults from such early age made the view of myself very low. So, as I was saying, I had a very low view of myself due to those, due to the bullying, to the insults. And as years were passing by, I started to become a person that was more inclined to impress other people than really being myself, and that caused a lot of problems at home, not just in school, but at home as well, with my parents, with family members, in a sense that I was very antisocial. I never would like to speak to anyone. I was always to myself, and I was rebellious to my parents as well, because I felt like they wouldn't understand me due to me not actually telling them what the problem was, but they wouldn't understand me. So I always felt like even my parents at home can't understand me, so maybe they don't love me enough. So maybe I just need to keep myself quiet and just be here on my own, and not really receive help from anyone.
Would you talk to your parents about the issues that was going on inside of you?
No, I wouldn't talk to them. I wouldn't be direct about the issues that I had inside. Once in a while, I would tell them, "Oh, today my friend did this to me," and they were like, "Oh, you just need to be strong. You don't need to care what people think of you. You just need to be strong. You just need to be strong." That happens to everyone. I remember that sometimes they even tell me stories of people that used to get bullied at home, but then they would be able to retaliate, to fight with their friends, and then they would earn their respect. But I was never the type of person that wanted to fight. I just wanted to not be insulted by anyone and actually be accepted by people. So yeah, I would tell them indirectly what the issue was, but I would never really tell them how I felt inside, the angriness and the revolt that I had inside of me to change.
Let's talk about the bullying factor, okay?
Yes.
It says here that you started getting bullied and insulted by schoolmates at school.
Yeah.
Okay. Why was that? What was it that they did not accept about you and they would bully you?
Well, as far as I can remember, the many insults, it was always the same thing, which is my appearance. For some reason, they always made fun of my appearance, or the way that I looked. At the time, I didn't understand why, because I thought that I was just like anyone else. But for some reason, I was always that person that in a group of friends would be picked. "Oh, you look like this. You look like this. You look like this. Oh, you are disabled because you look like this." So I never really understood why they were making fun of me or the way that I looked. I mean, at home, I would never hear those things, but outside in school, I was always getting insulted by not just one person, but like a group of people, a group of other colleagues. So yeah, I would never really understand. So it was very complicated for me to understand and obviously accept it at the time.
Did you not take the action to report your friends to the principal, to the school teacher?
Yeah, I would do that. But I guess the mindset at the time, to be honest, the mindset at the time, even to school teachers, was this is just a kid's thing. So they will sort it out. You just need to man up and, just make sure that you stand up for yourself. And I'll speak to them. I'll make sure that they don't do this again. But at the end, yes, it would be temporary, a solution. But then afterwards, when I would get close to them again, making jokes with them again, everything would get back to.
But then obviously you're growing older.
Yeah.
And things were not getting any better. They were getting from bad to worse.
From bad to worse.
To what point?
To what point? Well, they were getting from bad to worse, not only because of the bullying, but because of because of what the bullying was doing to me. I was starting to do other things, basically. So, as I said, I was feeling very lonely. I thought, okay, if I'm getting this bully, it's because people see something wrong with me. So maybe I need to have something with me in order for people to accept. I need to do something else in order to be accepted. So what I started doing, I started to actually steal from my friends. I remember that at the time they had like a video game that everyone had and I didn't have it. So what I thought is maybe if I have this video game for me, I'll feel better about myself. I'll feel better. I'll feel like I have something that I can own and maybe even show to my friends that I have something valuable in my hands. So what I started doing is stealing from other friends. This is from my early age. This is when I was around 7, 8 years old. So what I did, I remember one time I stole from a friend and that parent came to the school saying, oh, so my kid yesterday brought his video game and someone in this class stole for him. And I don't remember exactly what was the reason that they after came up to me, but I actually thought because of my mom, yeah. Because my mom was informed about the situation and she said Nielsen actually came up with something that was not his to the house. And I was just there trying to, in front of the parents, saying, no, it's not me. In front of you, it's not me. It's definitely not me. Definitely not me. So I remember that was even creating this reputation of being someone that used to steal from other people at school. So this was all due to the early bullying that I was having.
Would you also steal money from your parents?
Money was actually later on. Not this. When I started stealing money was around, I was 15, 16, 17.
And you steal, you see, so in the first instance, when you stole this video game from your friend, you were about 7, 8.
Yeah, 7, 8, 9.
Now you are a lot older.
You're
older. 16,
yeah.
And you're stealing money from your parents. You see, Pastor Neil, that a bad habit, every bad habit starts very small. But if you don't cut it there and then, it grows and it becomes a lot worse.
Exactly, and you see that he started young from stealing because of what was happening. And even when he grew older, instead it gets better, it gets worse. Mm-hmm. What was the biggest thing you stole, or biggest amount you stole from your parents?
From my parents, oof. So the biggest amount that I think I stole from my parents was, I remember that I bought a phone, mm-hmm. a phone from one online shop, and the phone was about 150, around 150, 180, and I stole from my mom in this to be more specific. So I stole from I used a credit card to actually pay for the thing online. And when the phone came, I remember that I was just lying, saying that, because at the time I was also at college, and then at college you receive some money to help you with your studies and stuff. So I was lying to her that I was using that money in order to buy the phone. But I kept going on with the lies. No, it's not me. She was insisting, how did this happen? How is this possible? She wasn't so focused on me having a phone, she was focused on an amount of money that she lost. But afterward, it made sense that, of course, if he has his phone, it must be free.
Pastor Douglas, the danger of bullying, because he said that because of the bullying, he wants to do something to get attention.
Yeah.
And because of trying to call attention for himself, it started to affect his house.
Yeah, because when you're bullied, the impression that you get from older people is that you are not being accepted.
Yeah.
At some point, it's like what you are or what you look like, the way you sound, it somehow does not match the standards that are expected from you. And obviously people have certain expectations on you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you end up becoming a people pleaser.
Yep, exactly.
As far as you remember, when was the worst moment of your life?
The worst moment of my life when I got to secondary school here in the UK, because I came from another country. But when I came here to the UK, I was there for this school for 2 years, and the bullying was just intense, very intense. Also due to me not speaking the language, but I remember that the type of bullying that I was having in those early years in primary school, everything was coming back now, and I was much older, so I felt like, man, even if I am already at this age and I'm still getting bullied in the same way that it was those years back, then something is really wrong with me.
That was your breaking point?
That was my breaking point. That was my breaking point in regards to the bullying specific, but in regards to the stealing, when my mom, when I went to the bank with my mom was saying that, I don't understand, because why am I losing this amount of money? How is this happening? And I used to tell her, maybe something to do with the bank, maybe, I don't know, they charging you for something, so let me go there with you and find out. And eventually she realized that it was me doing all of that, because I was buying a lot of things like every week.
A compulsive liar.
Yeah, compulsive liar, yeah.
Lying to your mom, telling her all the stories,
Yes.
but deep down you knew you were the culprit.
Yeah. And she actually sat me down, and she was like, how? And the look of disappointment in her face was the point that I was like, I need to change. Something is wrong with me. I don't understand.
We are going to a short break. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned, because after the break, Newton is going to tell us how his life turned around. Do you need to talk about your problems? Do you need someone who you carefully listen to you without judging you? You can give us a call. We got a 24-hour helpline. You can call at any time and somebody will answer the phone. Someone who will pray for you, who will help you. And if you want to book an appointment to talk to me, to talk to Pastor Neil, or to any presenter of Finding Answers, you feel free to do so. Okay, and there will be no costs. We are not going to charge you for an appointment at all, because our intention is to help you who are suffering. If you are not suffering, if you can bear with your suffering, if you say, look, mate, I'm watching you, blah, 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 you're telling this story, but you know what? I can put up with my life. I like the way I am. I am not well. I'm a compulsive drinker. I have been hooked on drugs. My marriage is about to fall apart. I can't see my children. I lost my children for social service. But you know what? I don't bother. I can put up with this. Then I'm not talking to you. Okay? I'm talking to those who acknowledge their suffering and they want help. They want help. They are humble enough to shout for help. Because only when you are humble enough to acknowledge you've got a problem and you shout for help, God will then give you the answer you've been looking for. Do you know why many people cannot find the answers they've been looking for? Because they are proud. They don't admit they are lost. They don't admit they live horrible lives. So then there is nothing God can do, really. So you who are suffering, you who are broken, you whose heart is in pieces, stay with me now for the next few minutes, because you're going now to see how Newton's life changed completely. He's a totally different person, and the same can happen to you. Newton, how did your life change?
So my life changed on the point when it came to the point for me to reflect and say to myself that I needed help. This way that I've been as a person, this way that I've been thinking is wrong. Something needs to change, because it does not make sense for my parents to always say to me that maybe I could be this type of son, and I myself have a completely different view. If they are seeing that I could be a different type of son, then maybe they know something that I have yet not realized, not understand. So I need explanation. I need to understand, why am I being like this? And I need to find a way out to be different. So I remember that at the time, my mom was going to a help center, just not far from where we lived. And she actually had been going to the help center for quite a few years. And I used to go once in a while, not really regularly, but once in a while, and to the youth group that they had there. But it was never of my interest. It was never of my interest to stay there, because, as I was saying, the bullying made me very antisocial. So that kind of prevent me from communicating effectively with people. So yeah, so my mom at the time, she was going to this place of faith that was not far from where we live. Actually, she had been going there for quite a few years, and she used to invite me to go there, to the youth group that was there. But because of the bullying, as I said previously, I became very antisocial, so I would never really communicate effectively with people. So I didn't know how to share my feelings, or to let people know how I felt about something. So even then, on the place of faith, I'll never really speak to anyone or be open about how I felt about my life. So as I said, I came to that point that my mom was very disappointed with me. She had a look of disappointment, and I started to question myself. Why am I like this? Why do I do these things? Why can I not change? If they say I can be a better son, maybe I can really be a better son. But why don't I see that in myself, becoming a better son? So I decided to give it a try. Give it a try to the place of faith for me to change, to see if anything was going to happen through them, through going there. So as I started to go there, as I started to get involved with the youth group again, there was things were beginning to change on the way that I was thinking, because I was listening to something different, different things that I've never really heard it before. That if I have faith, I can become a different person. If I have faith, I can get rid of all these bad habits, all these addictions, all this low self-view that I have of myself. And I was thinking, okay, so faith is the key for me. Me using faith is what really going to change the type of person that I am. It's what's really going to change my mind, because I want to change my mind. So as I start to hear about faith, faith is about you also being sincere. It's about you being open. It's about you not feeling ashamed of your situation. But if you truly want help, and if you truly want to have this faith inside of you, you just need to open up. You just need to have your heart open and speak about your situation. So as I was speaking to one of the members about my situation, I remember them saying that, Nielsen, there's only one way for you right now. It's you to use your faith. It's you to invest, learn, grow in your faith, give it time as well. But one thing is for sure, you'll be a different person after this.
How is your life today?
So my life today is different, completely different. Starting in the way that I think, starting on the way that I see myself. I no longer have the need to receive people's approval, because that was the biggest issue at the past. The reason that I couldn't stand for myself at the past is because I wanted people's approval. I wanted people to just approve me, for them just to approve me without me doing anything. So today, I don't need to do anything, and I know, and this is my way of seeing things, that I don't need anything to do anything in order for people to approve me. Me just being myself, me just being the person that I am is enough. Not for them, but for me. So, and this is all due to the power of faith. This is all due to the teachings and the place of faith that I received, that faith is all you need in your life.
Do you still have the bad habit of stealing from people?
No. I don't have the bad habit from stealing. First, because that's a disrespect towards my parents. That's something that has nothing to do with faith. That's the opposite of faith. Me stealing is me saying that I don't really believe in what I say that I believe, which is what I was taught in this place of faith. So, no stealing. No disrespecting my parents. My parents work for what they have, so I can't do that. If I want something, I can go to them and ask them. But I don't even do that today. I just work to have the things that I want to have. So yeah, in that area, I don't no longer steal. I no longer feel low about myself. And I'm just a happy person today.
Do you sleep well at night?
I sleep well, Pastor. I sleep very well today. Before, because of all the thoughts that I had in my mind, it was a bit difficult in the sense of going to bed just by myself alone, because sometimes I would feel scared. But yeah, today it's not an issue for me. Today I can go to bed with my mind completely clear and know that tomorrow is going to be a better day, knowing that tomorrow I'm going to be able to achieve whatever I want to achieve, all due to the power of faith. This is what faith really did.
How long you suffered for?
So, yeah, Pastor, from the age of 6 to the age of 19. 19. Until I came to the help center, yeah.
How long now you overcame?
Now it's been from 19 to 23, so that's about 4 years now. It's going to 3 years and a half, actually, to be most precise, yeah.
You see, Pastor Douglas, compare 18 to 17, 19?
1920, yeah.
And 3 years of learning the power of faith erase all these years of suffering.
Yeah, and all the losses have been restored.
All the losses have been restored, yeah.
All the losses have been retrieved through the power of faith. That's an amazing story. Thank you very much for sharing. And I believe that these viewers who acknowledges they are suffering and they really want help, and they don't just want help, but they will do something about it. They will seek help. They will call. They will send an email. They will set an appointment. Then this story has really added something great to your life. We'll go to a short break, and after the break, we'll be answering your questions. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our show, and this is a new segment where we will be answering all your questions. If you have a question and you'd like us to answer it here or there, simply email your question to us. You can email it to help@findinganswers.tv, and Pastor Neil and myself will be more than happy to answer your questions. Okay? We have just interviewed an amazing story of Newton, who used to steal money from his parents, who used to steal gadgets from his friends, from his schoolmates. And obviously he had a lot of issues. He was a sort of people pleaser because he could not, he felt like he would not fit in the crowd, his friends. But once he discovered the power of faith, everything has changed.
Exactly. And there are many people that they are facing the same problem today because they are trying to please others, because they discover that they are not accepted in the crowd, as you said. They are not fitted there. So they're trying to do many things and they end up doing wrong things just to please others. As Milton, from age 9, I think he
Yes.
says, until 19, this a long
10 years of terror, of
10
torture.
years. And 3 years after, from faith, erased. Now he's a different man. That's the power of faith.
Completely different man. And now we are going to answer your questions. So let's now see what the first question is, please. Okay, that's a very interesting one from Larissa from Camden. Her question is, what can't I use my faith for? Let me read it again. What can't I use my faith for? Well, Larissa, according to my understanding, you want to know what are the things which you can't use your faith for. Well, from the biblical principle, because obviously when we can't talk about faith without associating faith with the will of God.
Yeah.
Because when we have faith, we must have faith to achieve what we want, but remember, God knows what is best for us and He won't give us anything that will cause damage. For instance, I can't use my faith to hurt somebody. I can't use my faith to wish the destruction of an enemy. A lot of people have been using faith with ulterior motives.
Yes.
For instance, imagine this case scenario where I am in a relationship with somebody, but I'm not accepted by her parents. Okay, my parents-in-law to be do not accept me. They don't like me. And I am a man, a woman of faith. I believe in God. And then I go in my prayers and say, God, I want my mother-in-law to be, to have a heart attack and die because I can't stand this woman. Or I want something bad to happen to her. God will never, ever listen to this type of prayer because you are looking to harm people. You are being selfish, which is another thing as well. You can't use your faith for
selfish gain.
For selfish gain.
Yeah.
When you only think about yourself, about your own well-being, and you're not really concerned about the potential consequences that may happen to other people. For instance, sometimes I may want something which belongs to person you, but if God takes from him and give it to me, he's going to suffer, and that's not fair. And God hates injustice.
Yeah.
He hates unfairness.
Yeah, for sure. And many, they think, once I have what I want, I don't care about anyone else. So I'm going to pray to receive it. Who wants to be hurt, hurt. This is not my issue. But God does not answer this kind of prayer when the person is selfish. So this kind of way of using faith is not accepted by God.
Yeah, so then so let's break it down to make it easier. So Larissa, you may ask, okay, so in light of this knowledge, how do I know what I can pray for or what I can ask for and that will be acceptable? How do I know what are the things which I can use my faith for, which is permissible, it is okay? Well, it's easy. If you're going to ask for is, number one, within the will of God.
Yeah.
That's the first priority, okay? The top of the list. It has to be within the will of God, and God knows what is best for you. Number two, it's not going to cause you any hurt or damage. Because many times you want something, but that's not necessarily the best for you. For instance, how many people who thought, well, I'm going to get into this romantic relationship and this is what I want, this is the person whom I love, and there is nobody else who can make me happy except apart from this person here. But deep down your head, you could sense there was something wrong with that person. But you simply ignore the signs and you let your heart take over. You didn't listen to your common sense. Your heart was above your head. You made decisions based on your heart. And now your marriage is broken. You are filing a divorce. You can't stand that person anymore whom you loved so dearly. And why was that? Because you did not prioritize the will of God. You did not seek to find out what was best for you. Okay, so seek the will of God, number one. Number two, ask for something which is not going to cause you any hurt or damage. And finally, number three, ask for something which is not going to cause damage or hurt to third parties. Because if I want something which is good for me, but it's not good for my colleague, that's not acceptable.
No.
Okay, so I hope we answer your questions. And Larissa, please, if you want to send us any more questions, please feel free to do so. Now, Pastor Neil is going to answer another question.
So now let us answer the next question. It's from Victoria. I use my faith, but I'm not seeing the results of what I want. Should I stop? Victoria, the answer is no. Why? Because there are things that you want in life will not come, let's say, overnight. It will not come at the same time. For example, check how old you are right now, Victoria, and check when you were born. So you grow stage by stage. And that's how the miracle works sometimes. That's how you see the power of God in your life, Victoria. So you are using your faith about something and you are not seeing it. What you are going to do, insist, persevere, be determined, telling yourself that even though I'm not seeing it now, but I will see it later. I will not give up on what I want, because that is the way you see God in your life. You know, Pastor Douglas, there are many people. It's very interesting question that she asks. Many people, they start to fight for something, whether financial, whether family, whether love life or health. And because they are not seeing what they want to see at the time, they just give up.
We've got a perfect example about perseverance.
Yes.
The Bible tells us about the story of Elijah.
Yes.
That he prayed so that God could send rain on earth, because there had not been rain for 3.5 years.
Yes, 3.5.
But then Elijah prayed 7 times, and then there was an abundance of rain. So he was a man of God,
yeah,
but he had to pray 7 times, which teaches a big lesson that if we want something, we must chase, we must pursue it until we get it, providing, they can't forget these details.
Yes.
What you want is the will of God. Because again, when she says here, I use my faith, but I'm not seeing the result of what I want. But what is it that you want? That's another question,
exactly,
which will be answered in a different program. Okay?
So
well,
Victoria, we hope we answer your question. Don't give up on what you want, but make sure what you want, it is pleasing to God.
Exactly. Let's go now to a short break, and after this break, we'll be here discussing the topic with you and praying for you. We are talking about bullying, the loss of confidence, and the regain of self-worth, which is so important to one's life. We have seen and interviewed here an amazing story of Newton. Newton, obviously, due to the bad circumstances that surrounded him, those bad, unexpected events, he let himself be easily carried away by those problems, which ended up causing Newton to lose his self-confidence. And here is a tip that will certainly help you. We all go through difficult moments
All
in
of
life.
us.
All of us. Pastor Neil, Pastor Douglas, you. Now, the issue is, how do you respond to those moments? How is your reaction when the problem comes? And this is what makes faith so special to us. Because when you discover the supernatural power of faith, you will develop the ability of learning how to tackle with your problems. You will depend on how to depend on God, who's a supernatural being, who is exceedingly more powerful than any problem you may go through. Bear this in mind, your problems may be too big for you. Okay? Looking on a human side perspective, your problems are like giants before you. But what are your problems before God?
Small.
They are like a tiny little seed. And then you may say, okay, but then if I trust in God, why is my life hell? Why is my life so awful, painful, miserable? Then you need to reassess what you call trust, because you haven't been trusting God the way you should. Perhaps you have been basing your trust on feelings of your heart rather than on what is written on the Bible. The Bible is the source of our faith. The Bible is the source of our faith because it is the spoken, the written word of God.
And when we use the word, it brings us to a level where we start to love ourselves. For example, Milton, when he found faith, he started to love himself. But before he found faith, he was craving for the love of others. He was trying to do crazy things because he wants attention to himself. And this is what faith does. Faith makes you to find confidence. You are confident about who you are. You are confident of what you want. And this is what people need to understand, Pastor Douglas.
We want to invite you now to use your faith, to use the power of faith. Prepare your heart now, because we will now go to the moment of prayer. If you have any prayer request, you can still send us via email, and we will include your prayer request in our prayer list. Let's now talk to God.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer concerning your family and loved ones, send your name and prayer request to help@findinganswers.tv.
My Father, right at this moment, there are many people there in suffering. Suffering with sicknesses in the body. Suffering because the relationship is not working. Suffering because financial-wise, they have nothing. Suffering because the home is like a battleground. Inside that house, my Lord, they are torment. And many have been suffering with bullying, my Lord, as Nilton. Suffering because of this bullying that causes fear, my Lord. But right now I pray for those that they are down there in the pit. They are down low, my Lord, in as low as possible, suffering, and they are stretching out their hands to seek for help. And I ask you, my God, may you reach to this person that is at the point of giving up, this person that is at the point, my Lord, of collapsing. And you are God, you are mighty, and only you can restore the lives of people. And in the name of the Lord Jesus, I minister right now freedom. I minister now deliverance in the lives of these people. You that you are in the hospital, be healed in the name of Jesus. You that you are going through moments of stress, be free now. Be set free now in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. My Lord, I pray for those who will be in bars, those, my Lord, that they're rejected everywhere they go. I surrender, my Lord, everything to your mighty hands in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
God is very near. He's very close. Seek His help whilst you still have time. You still have time, because days are coming, Pastor Neil, where people are going to seek out God and they won't be able to find.
They have to seek now.
And please, I don't mean, I'm not here trying to terrorize the viewers. But I'm mentioning here what the Bible says. Seek the Lord whilst He is near, whilst He can be found. Because there will be days where people will seek help and help won't be available. So don't wait until tomorrow, my friend. Do what you have to do now. Stop postponing. Remember, nobody will do what you have to do. Okay? Well, may God bless you abundantly until our next show. Bye-bye.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.